Welcome to the Secrets of Personal Injury Law with Colin Bober.
Welcome to the Secrets of Personal Injury Law. Joining us today is Jason Long, Senior Attorney at Colin B. Bober and Associates. Jason represents clients who often don't realize the full extent of their injuries until days or even weeks after an accident. I'm Zofia Morales, and today we're talking about the risks of waiting to seek medical care and how that delay could hurt both your health and your case. Today's episode is Hidden Injuries After a Crash. What happens when you wait to get checked? Welcome back, Jason.
Thank you.
So good to have you with me again today. So talk to me, what are hidden injuries and why do they matter in personal injury cases?
Well, it's the injuries that are not sort of on the surface. That can be from, you've got some herniations, you've got some pre-existing clients that have some other pre-existing medical that can be exacerbated. So it's not the visual necessarily. It's not the I was hit and I've got some bruising or scarring or lacerations. So it's really important to get checked out and go through the diagnostic scans to see what's really happening underneath.
Yeah, because you could have whiplash or even a TBI and maybe not have outward signs. Is that true?
Right. And so a lot of people will have delayed onset of pain. So you may not feel something the same day. You've got a lot of adrenaline. You may not feel something the next day, or it might take another day or two. You might wake up super stiff and super sore and say, well, I've never felt this pain before. So there's a little bit of delayed onset. And just because you've got some delayed onset of neck and back pain a couple of days from the accident, it could be something more. You just don't know it yet. So that's why it's very important. If you're in pain, do something about it.
Yeah, well, and I think just from a layman's perspective, I would say if you've been in an accident, go get checked out,
Right.
period. Don't say I'm going to rub dirt on it and walk it off.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some common symptoms that people might overlook or play down after a crash, thinking they're not serious?
I think it's the general soreness. I think it's I've got some neck and back pain. We try to flesh out sort of everything that they can remember from the crash. A lot of people don't remember hitting their head. Depending on the type of impact, did you hit your head on a steering wheel and the airbag just didn't deploy? Did you hit your head on the window? Did you hit the back of your head on the headrest? Did you get hit with an airbag, which pushed you back into the back of the seat rest? So they don't quite understand the nature of the injuries, especially for a recent accident. And just because they come to us complaining of these injuries, we don't know the full extent of it either. So that's why we leave it up to the medical doctors to do an assessment, start to check out how they're feeling, how they're sleeping, what kinds of aches and pains do you have? Is it just general soreness, or is it aching and burning? Is it radiating down any particular limb, like your arm, your leg? And so they'll start to do assessments, and then based on how you're progressing from the initial visits, if you will, then they'll start to do some diagnostic imaging to see, do you have any herniations or worse? Did you hit a limb inside the vehicle? Do you have any fractures or any tears, like in a knee or in a shoulder, or something to that effect? So to your point, and I think we're going to be saying it over and over, is it's important to get checked out to know the full scope of what happened.
What do they consider immediately seeking medical care? Is this like I had the accident and I immediately went to the ER, or is it, can you wake up the next morning and go, you know what, maybe this is more than I thought it was, and still have that be considered immediate?
Yes, you can have both. It's not just I had an accident and I'm in an ambulance on the way to the ER. Obviously, that is pretty immediate, and there's a severe need to get some sort of an attention right then and there. So there's a lot of others that will experience delayed soft tissue impact, which still can turn into more. There is no necessarily a relation between minor impact means or automatically means minor injuries. It doesn't. The insurance company will make that argument. They'll posture and say, well, look at the property damage, and it was a light impact, and therefore we're challenging the mechanism of your injuries and all of the treatment. They like to posture that way, but it doesn't really work. So there's no rhyme or reason. So you get hit, you have some neck and back pain that doesn't show up until the next day. Doesn't mean that it's minor just because it was delayed or any other reason. So go get checked out. You won't know until you speak with the medical professional, because I'm not a doctor and neither are you.
So when we're dealing with delayed treatment, say you got hit and it's maybe a week or more before you're like, you know what, I think something really serious did happen. How does a delay like that affect the strength of your claim?
Well, it just depends. What is the reason for the delay? Is it something that you had an onset of pain and you've just been fighting through it, and you have, work and life gets in the way, children, you're just trying to make it. Maybe you can't afford to take time off. Maybe you don't have health insurance. Maybe you just, like you mentioned before, just want to rub dirt on it and see how far it can go. And then you finally reach a tipping point and you say, I need to go and get checked out. So
Yeah.
it just depends on the circumstances.
So why do insurance companies use delayed treatment against injury victims?
They're looking for ways to just minimize claims, save them money. They'll say, well, your client waited 4 days before they saw treatment or 8 days before they saw treatment. They don't know the reason. They're just saying it, and they'll just spit that out in a lot of different instances. And it's easy to combat that by asking the client, okay, well, why did you wait days? What were the reasons? And it could be a very simple and practical reason. Well, I was trying to get scheduled, and this was the first available appointment.
Right.
Or, my vehicle is in the tow yard and I don't have a way to get to work, and I can't afford to take days off because, I have children and I'm a single parent. So there could be a number of different real life factors, if you will, that go into the decision making of why there was a delay.
So if I were in an accident and I wasn't feeling pain right away, at what point should I go get checked out?
As soon as you can. The longer you wait, we're talking 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and didn't even go to an urgent care, your PCP, call your doctor for a televisit, you didn't do anything. Your argument and your claim is now questionable. Why did you wait? If the argument comes down to, I'm in pain, I should be compensated. Okay, well, our question is, well, what did you do about it? And we want to know your answer. We're not the ones that are going to tell you. You tell us. And so this is your claim, and your claim for injuries is proven by what you do about it. What kind of treatment did you receive? And so we ask that question because we want to know what the answer is to try and help you out as best as you can.
So what kind of medical records or documentations help to prove an injury was in fact caused by the accident, especially when there's that delay in seeking care?
Are there ER records within, a day of the visit? What are in the notes? Did you mention that this was the result of an accident? Did you go to your own PCP? Did you mention that this was the result of an accident? So it's going to come down to what is in the treatment records. Sometimes it doesn't have to explicitly say, well, this is from a car accident. Some doctors just may not notate that may be missing. But if you can show that the accident happened on Monday and you're in the doctor's office the next day complaining of consistent injuries, then you can piece it together and say, okay, well, this is as a result of the accident. Plus, you also have your client mentioning, yeah, I went and got checked out because of the accident. So you'll find it most likely in the medical records and piecing together the facts and circumstances.
Okay. And if you don't go to the ER, you can still bring a claim, yes? Just as long as it was some sort of medical care.
You can go to urgent care. You can call your own PCP. It doesn't have to go into a full-blown hospital. I think a lot of people don't go because they don't have insurance. And so, there are alternatives like urgent cares or other minute clinics or something like that, or those standalone clinics that are available. Call them, find out what they can do. Some clients don't realize that they may have alternate insurance, that they may have government insurance and just didn't realize that they had it. or they lost their insurance, or they lost their job, and ask. It's try to do what you can to make yourself feel better. And if you still have additional questions, you can call an attorney and get some recommendations.
So let's say it took a little while for your injuries to appear. How do you start to explain that when you're dealing with the insurance company?
Depends on the medical records. There are delayed onset of injuries that, as I mentioned before, don't manifest immediately. They take time. They're not always I've got immediate bruising or I've got immediate airbag burns because an airbag hit me in the chest, or my eye hit an airbag, or my head hit a window and I've got swelling, or worse. I've got severe lacerations all over my body. I'm sorry. What was the question?
How do you
Make sure I
explain?
answered it without repeating myself.
How do you explain to the insurance company that your injuries didn't appear right away?
I see. Okay. So the soft tissue injuries can take a few days to develop. I guess the full extent of the injury. You've got some aches and pains and soreness, but it won't be until the diagnostics comes through and they might find, oh yeah, you have herniations in your cervical or lumbar. And then you start to piece it together and say, okay, well, that explains the throbbing pains that you've got down your right leg. So it's the herniations that are impinging on the nerves and causing that radiating pain, which is causing you to lose sleep at night or miss days of work because you can't function or stand up. Or it's causing you to take over-the-counter meds, which may or may not be helping. So it's really coming down to it's important to let the medical professional guide you, tell you what's going on, and do some imaging, do those MRIs, and perhaps some X-rays to make sure that you find out what's going on behind the scenes.
Okay. And just to tie it up with a bow, what advice do you give clients who waited for a few days before seeing a doctor for whatever reason?
A few days is fine. We want to find out, why they waited. They may be unsure what they should do from a basic level. Should I go get checked out? Is a question we will get asked, and the answer is, if you're in pain, then yes, you need to do what you need to do medically. We'll have some clients that'll come in and say, I'm 3 or 4 or 5 days after I'm having chest pains. You need to go to the emergency room. You need to call your doctor. You need to go to an urgent care. You need to get that checked out. Clients will also ask about their children in the vehicle. If your children is experiencing pain, go get them checked out. Take them to their pediatrician. Make sure that they're okay as well. But definitely, speak with your doctor for additional information.
All right. Well, thank you for all of that wisdom. I appreciate you sharing that with us today.
Absolutely.
And thanks for tuning in to the Secrets of Personal Injury Law. If you've been hurt, even if it seems minor at first, don't guess. Get medical attention and then contact the team at boberlaw.com. Your case and your health could depend on it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who might need it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.